We are going to try to do the whole video. This will be a long video and to cover the whole trip. And this is us getting ready to start.
And our first campground was Lake Washita near Hot Springs, Arkansas. It was probably, an hour from Hot Springs, maybe not that far. And there's our campground and scooter in our little first campground spot.
We're going to go through it pretty quick, but that was a lake behind it. Real nice place, but had no cell signal.
Right.
Then we went to Hot Springs, which had the bathhouses, and we were kind of disappointed. We thought we'd have a spring that we could get into, so we ended up kind of disappointed there.
Yeah, we did find this one. It's a little one. We actually caught it bubbling, and water is actually very hot. It was pretty cool, but the little town is this Arlington Hotel. Al Capone and a lot of gangsters stayed there. Hot Springs is actually known for mob activity back in the day. And then we went up into the Washington Tower, I think this was called. And we met John and Hope up there.
You'll see them later.
Yep. And then our next campground was in Waco at the Waco Airport Park. It was a really nice park. We really enjoyed it.
Where John and Hope also went to that night. We saw them again. And that's when we became friends and actually went out to eat supper.
Yep. And then this is the Branch Davidian compound where the whole Branch Davidian thing went on, but there's not much more to see there. Basically a rubble pile.
Texas Ranger Museum was an awesome place to go. If you're in that area, you should go check it out.
A lot of military, a lot of different types of guns they've used. And then we got to go to Magnolia Market and Magnolia not studios, but the market.
And then we went to Waco, Texas, Woolly Mammoth dig.
Yeah, this was pretty cool.
It's an active dig.
Yes.
And that's John and Hope. We actually went out to eat supper. My hair was real short at the beginning of this trip. Just a sunset.
Yep. And then we went off to Fredericksburg, Texas. And this campground was kind of tight, but it also had these, you said these are goat. I think they're sheep.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were real close to our campground.
Yep. And then we went to the Pacific War Museum, which was very, very interesting. And you could spend three days if you stopped and read everything and really studied it.
Yeah, it was huge. It took up like 3 blocks in town.
Yep.
But you actually had an outdoor scene that you could go up to and see how it laid out, a war enactment scene.
Yep.
Some planes they had. And then we went to the Bat Cave, Old Tunnel. Was hoping to see bats fly out of the cave.
Well, apparently we were 2 weeks or so too early.
Up above on the right there, you could see the platform you could see if they were there flying out.
And then we got to go to Long Neck Manor. And this is Jeremy, the rhino. We got to pet and feed Jeremy. And Long Neck Manor has like 12 animals. They have 3 rhinos, a sloth, and the rest are giraffes. This is me feeding one of them.
Like to get her finger bit.
Yeah, they don't really like people. That's Indy, the baby. They really just want you for food. They're not social with people. And we went to Wild Seed Farms. I had read about this, and it was not what I expected. It was also okay.
It was okay. It's also a winery, I think.
Yes.
There's a lot of winery places out there.
Yeah.
Enchanted Rock. This was a hike that Jan found for us. Climb up to the top of that hill.
Yep. It was 45 flights, I think.
Don't remember.
I don't remember either. I think that's right, though. 450 feet or so up.
And that's on top of it. You can see a good long ways.
Yep. It was a good clear day, thankfully.
Yeah.
We got a picture taken several times.
It was a good little hike.
Yep.
To get us started.
Yep.
A lot of people. In Texas and the oil fields. We drove for 20 miles at least with oil fields in it.
And then we got to Camp Washington. This is a campground in Carlsbad, New Mexico, actually Alamogordo. And it actually has a group home attached to it. But it was was a pretty cool little campsite
They
for
had
the
5
night.
campsites, I think.
Yeah,
And then we went to Carlsbad Caverns.
which is really neat. Very wild cave. Well, it's a wild cave.
It's not commercialized like the other caves.
Not like Luray.
They actually recommend you bring a flashlight.
Yes. Very wild. You saw all kinds of formations. Um,
Long. It was a couple of miles, 2 or 3 miles long down in there.
yes, but apparently Mammoth is bigger. I don't know. This is Carmen and Joe that we met there at the campground. They were pretty neat folks. They live in Colorado.
Then we went to Ketchin.
McKittrick.
Yeah, that's it. We did a little hike to an old homestead back. The old family tried to live there. They decided after a year or so they couldn't do it and they moved out.
Yeah, and they tried to use it as a vacation home too, but it wasn't conducive.
It was a rugged trail. There's a lot of, you don't see it there, but you'll see it in just a second. A lot of rocks.
Yeah, Raymond tried to break his ankle on this trail.
Yeah, not that one.
No,
I was up in the other thing. Oh. Yeah.
Anyway, you can see the trail here. Us on the little trail. Then we went to Cloudcroft, and I think we both kind of wish we had stayed and went through Cloudcroft for a little bit. Got to go to the pistachio farms, and I love pistachios, so this was kind of interesting. And pistachio trees are not native to the U.S. The trees are actually grafted into American trees or U.S. trees.
And then we went to Lincoln National Forest.
Yep, we did a hike here. Probably about the time I started thinking I'm not a desert fan. Very dry, very brown and green, as you can see.
And then you got this little rattlesnake sign here.
Yeah.
We didn't see any rattlesnakes or scorpions.
Right.
And then we went to White Sands National Monument.
Yep.
Beautiful.
It was really very cool. They said these dunes move, 15 feet a year?
A year. They move.
Yes. There's by wind or whatever.
And what I'm parked on is White Sands.
Yes.
It's not compacted. A road.
Compacted.
And it's actually a bad road when it gets moved. See how the ripples are in it?
It is washboard for sure.
Yes.
But it is really cool to get up there and walk around. We saw some people trying to sled, and apparently you need wax on your sled to really sled. More people just walking.
Then we went to Oliver Lee Campground.
And this was on the side of a mountain. And then they did a little talk with a turtle and this gopher snake. And this is the KOA campground in Wilcox, Arizona. Changed my mind about KOAs.
And then we went to this one.
Chiricahua National Monument.
That's where I like to broke my ankle.
This is, we kind of happened on this one. And this was really cool. We really enjoyed these rock formations.
And they claim they've had earthquakes and the rocks don't fall.
Right.
They had one rock fall one time, and it was just, where did it fall? They tried to find where it was.
I don't know if we have a picture of the one that's like, I think it's coming up, where it's just like sitting up there and you think anything will move it, and it doesn't.
They say it won't, but there's a hard surface up the middle, or core up the middle of it, holding it up there.
Yep, right there. That's one of them. There were several of those. It was a really cool hike and really cool monument park.
There's another one standing up there at Order Fall.
Yeah.
Had a long hike. We spent some time on that one.
Yeah, well, it's because we were taking pictures of rocks the whole time. Hailstone Trail. And those monuments are all out of volcanic rock. And they're just towers and towers of them. I can't imagine what the Valley of the Gods looks like.
And then we left that and went to a little homestead nearby there, Fairway Ranch. Couldn't really tour it. You could kind of see it, then you had to move on.
Yeah.
And that was their background of the scenery of that house. And then we went to Tombstone, Arizona. If you got kids, great place to go. If you're kind of out of the kids, grandkids, and you might stop by, but
don't go out of your way.
Don't go out of your way. They had actors that did a little portrayal of the OK Corral gunfight, and that's where it supposedly happened. That's statues there. Then we went to Tucson, Arizona, Catalina State Park.
This was an interesting area. We love this campground and area. It was. I enjoyed the cacti, I guess. That was Raymond riding his bike, and this campground had a really pretty view of the mountains.
It did. It did. You could just stay there, but it was nice.
Yep, I'd go back to that one.
Yep.
There's a bunch of the cacti, and that was a little mural there in the park.
And that's a sunset there on that mountain background.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yep. Just a profile of a cactus. More cacti.
That was a long, well, not really long, but we did take a lot of pictures.
Yep.
You know, the trails seem longer or shorter if you take a lot of pictures.
Yes.
Kind of distracts you, I believe.
Yep.
There's another little profile of the cacti. You don't want to fall into it.
No, not that's for sure.
That's a thank you rock.
Yes. No, it's the Alamo Canyon Loop is the one we actually did. There's Scooter sitting in the campsite. One of the monuments.
We started headed out to Quartzsite, Arizona. Quartzsite. 2 months out of the year you go, the rest of the year you go away. There's like 1 million people there in those 2 months, and it's the RV show. And then the rest of the time there's only 2 grocery stores.
Yep.
And about 3 of these stores. And they actually had a guy try to bring in camels into Quartzsite.
Yep, a guy named High Jolly.
And then this is where he's buried.
He tried. It was not successful. If you want to, you can pause and read that sign and learn more about it.
That's our little camp spot for the night.
We went to Joshua Tree. I don't know what I expected, but and this is the cholla cactus, and it's supposedly called the jumping cactus. If you get too close, those little needles will jump onto you.
Well, they claim they do. They really don't. But
right.
If you get close enough, you'll get one.
They attach to you very easily, I guess. A lot of rock formations in Joshua Tree that were interesting. There's an actual tree.
There's an actual Joshua tree.
They were interesting. They were more spread out than I expected. I figured I'd see a forest of them or something. Clearly, I didn't know what I was getting into.
Then we go to Indian Wells, La Quinta, California.
La Quinta. This was on Lake Chihulia. I probably said that wrong.
And from there, we went to Shields Date, where they grow dates.
Yep.
And
limes and lemons, all kinds of things.
This is a perfect example of a ladder tree.
See the ladder in the date palm tree?
See it? The ladder tree. And then we managed to go to a farmer's market. And it's pretty nice. They got real nice, real expensive food there.
Yes, I mean, it is California, to be fair.
And you're in Palm Springs.
Yep.
And we did a little hiking trail here. And this is a smaller one. It probably is half mile total, I guess, round circle.
Right.
1.2 miles, it says there somewhere.
Well, and I don't think we did all of that one. I think there was a longer one that we didn't do. Longer and harder.
That's Palm Springs in the background there.
Yeah, little oasis in the middle of the desert. And I think this is the physically not able. I don't know how to say that politically correct. They do it just for people in wheelchairs or that have a hard time walking. Did it specifically for them.
Then we had lunch at the High Moon restaurant.
A High Moon hotel that had a restaurant.
Yeah. And you have this restroom, all genders, yes. And then we took a ride up.
A tram ride. To the top of Mount Jacinto. Somebody had told me about this, and I'm really glad we did this. This was pretty cool. We were in probably 80 degrees down.
90.
Maybe 90 degrees. It was warm, and they kept saying, wear a jacket, change clothes, wear warm clothes.
Layer.
Yeah, layer.
This is on the way up.
Yep. Just the rocks on the you can see from the tram on the way up.
And of course, you got the fog.
Yep.
Fog followed us for some reason.
It did. The tram is cool because it's round and it inside of it does a 360, so you always get to see different views as you go up and down, for that matter, of course.
And then there was a hiking trail down there that you could do, several of them on top of the mountain. And one of them was actually a backcountry trail that you have to check in with the ranger station before they allow you to go.
Yep. But this is what he means about the fog. It was foggy, and it was probably, 40 degrees up there?
Yes.
But it was so cool.
There's snow.
Little snowman. We did see some snow.
Yep.
It was pretty cool up there. I was impressed.
I liked it. Jen actually fell in love with the country up there at that time.
Yes.
The trees and the mountains.
Trees and mountains. We obviously got warmer there because we took our jackets off.
We walked up. I was sweating.
Yeah, of course you were. And again, rock formations just here and there, just like God sprinkled rocks all over the place. That's what he does.
Beautiful sceneries.
Yeah, there's the tram, and
the tram actually rotates 360 degrees where you're going up and down on the ride. That. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. And there's the tower, one of the towers that you go by, and that's on the way down.
You can see we went a long ways up and a long ways down.
Yep, and it was pretty steep too.
Went right by Los Angeles time on our way to our next campsite.
Yep, we didn't
drove
stop.
By the Palisade fires.
Yep, we didn't stop in LA at all.
And we stayed the night in Malibu.
Yeah, that was not impressive. We made it to the Pacific Northwest. The road you see below you is the Pacific Coast Highway. We are in Malibu. We were able to drive through the Palisades fire area, albeit very slow. They're doing a lot of construction, of course.
And then this is the beach, of course, still of Malibu. I was kind of disappointed. I expected more, better, but.
And we may not have gotten in the proper town of Malibu, but not at all what we expected.
Then we went to Ventura Pier.
Yeah, Ventura, California. It was quaint. It was smaller than I expected.
It was cold and wind was blowing. I remember we had coats on and it was blowing your head off. Look at her hair.
Yeah, it was crazy. We thought we had bad winds in Texas, New Mexico.
And then we went to the Channel Islands.
Oh my goodness. I read about this before we left and I was so excited. I'm so glad we did this. If you ever get a chance to go to Channel Islands, go. You take a boat out there and it is gorgeous.
Got a little dolphin coming up out of the water and one below the water.
Well, I think that's a baby dolphin. But there we are approaching Santa Cruz.
Yes.
I think was the one we went to.
Yep.
And it was rugged, it was wild, it's untouched, except for the hiking paths. And obviously the tourists, but you know what I mean.
They tried to live there at one time. They actually brought in sheep.
Sheep, yeah.
And it almost ate all the vegetation away. They had to try to put some of it back.
There was not, this hike that we did, you could not get a bad picture.
No.
It was stunning.
The pictures you see is just one, 15 of about 1,000 on that trip.
We took a ton. And all those people you saw coming in, you didn't see them the rest of the hike. And we actually joined up with a ranger for a talk for about a mile. And she was pretty informative. Knew a lot about the Channel Islands. And
it was a slow walk mile, but it was good.
Yes.
She had a lot of information about it.
Yep.
What's that rock called?
I don't remember.
That white stuff?
Oh, diatomaceous earth. So the Channel Islands have patches of diatomaceous earth, which is a natural, it's actually a natural insect repellent. You can put it on your plants and keep ants away and all kinds of things. If you're into holistic stuff, look up diatomaceous earth and see everything you can do with it. There's actually a food grade diatomaceous earth.
And there's something going on with this beach is what's causing that foam around the edge. Do you remember what that was?
I think that she thought it was one of a bloom of an algae bloom.
An algae bloom.
Yep. Got to the visitor center. It was pretty small. Nothing to really write home about. But then there's the island fox. He's little bitty, about the size of a small cat.
They're smaller on this island. They're kind of their own breed on this island.
Yes.
And then we did a Ventura Parkway bicycle greenway.
Mm-hmm.
And we rode for miles on that.
And never got to the end.
And then came back to Art City, which was a rock, a stonemasons. They carve all this out of rock. If you want to buy stone sculptures, this is where you buy it before they get into the galleries.
Mm-hmm. And there was some good stuff. I mean, there's a stingray there. They had some obelisks that I liked. We went up to the Sarah Cross Park, which overlooks Ventura. This is kind of an interesting little park.
That's a good steep little drive, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially in the van.
Jim was a little scared of that one.
It's okay.
Then we went to Pismo Beach.
Yes. We were just passing through and decided to stop. And it was pretty rugged, the coastline.
We got to where we started taking pictures of rocks and the ocean and the waves. And it just seemed like everywhere we stopped, we had to get a picture of a different rock.
Yes.
So if you need to know where they're categorized, I've got them numbered. A book that matches it, and you tell which one it is.
You have a spreadsheet, I'm sure.
A spreadsheet. Then went to Morro Bay.
Morro Rock behind us there. There's a better picture of it. People weren't climbing this. I think it was protected from that, which I was a little surprised, but there are birds that live up there. A ton of birds.
I've noticed a lot of places refuse you to have drones.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about buying a drone one time to get some of those special pictures, but you cannot have a drone in a lot of these national parks.
Right. This is just, we were kind of walking around the base of the rock. This is the Morro Bay RV Park. There's the rock again. Low tide, lower tide.
That's from the restaurant we was eating at.
Oh, that's right. There's a little marina.
And then we went to see the Hearst Castle.
Oh, yeah. Good old Hearst Castle. This was a highlight of the trip, I think. Very gorgeous house. We did 2 tours, actually. One was the grounds and one was the house.
Right.
Or one was part of the house and another part of the house. Anyway, the views here, I mean...
It's unreal how much money is here.
Yes, in the house alone.
Yeah.
And then back in the 50s and 60s or whatever it was.
The Hearsts, of course, had made all their money from the newspapers.
Right.
Editorials and stuff. He'd have parties here, and they said that Mr. Hearst would actually go back to his office and work all night because that's when the newspapers are being created.
Right, especially on the East Coast. But the tile work in this spot alone, and just massive. This is actually a guest house, and there were 4 guest houses, I think. Just the artisan work that went in here.
All this stuff here he actually brought from overseas, brought it in here, put it in his castle.
Yes, absolutely. And the grounds, I mean, stunning. Go if you can.
And then right nearby was the elephant seals laying on the beach. Of course, nearby, it was like thousands of acres what that castle's sitting on, and it was at the edge of across the street from the Hearst Castle.
Yeah, they're just lazing around. They were so sweet, cute. We got over to Bixby Creek Bridge. Got some pictures and stuff around there. Apparently, this bridge was built in 1932, I think I saw. And I'm sure it's had some work done to it, but it was all concrete.
There you go.
Yep, there's a good picture of it. Also a little scared. I'm not a big bridge fan, especially when I learned it was, almost 100 years old. again, just the rocks out in the water and the rugged coastline. I just love it.
As we started getting up north, you noticed the coast bluffs got taller.
Yeah.
And the water got harder, stronger.
Yeah.
And then we ended up Big Sur Campground.
Oh my goodness. Now I'm in the redwoods.
Now we're in the redwoods.
Oh my heavens. If you haven't been to the redwoods, please go and take me with you.
Jen used to be a Lake Tahoe lover. She got into the redwoods, especially when we got to the redwood forest.
Yep.
And she said, I don't know if I like Lake Tahoe that much anymore.
It's not true. I still love Lake Tahoe. There's Scooter in the campground. I don't remember where that was, but it was near it was in Big Sur. Just part of the coast we saw.
Yep.
There's not much to Big Sur. I was a little surprised after all I'd heard about it. We did go over to Julia Pfeiffer State Park, and there is McWay Falls down there below. We couldn't hike down to it.
The trail was under construction.
Yep.
That was the hike into that area.
Yep. Part of the hike we did in there, yeah. Just the coastline and the waves and the rocks. There's the McWay Falls again.
What's Sur Light Station? Only take 40 people a day. You have to line up on the street, wait till they open the gate, and the first 40 that drive in gets the tour.
And it is a 3-hour tour, and they tell you will be here for 3 hours, that you are with a docent at all times.
You park at the bottom and have to hike up that road.
Yep.
Because the road isn't safe enough to drive on anymore.
Right.
But he takes his time as they go up. He'll walk for 3 minutes and stop for 2.
Right. And there's part of the walk up, and you can kind of see the elevation. And this kind of shows how far we've been up at that point. There's a bunch of sea lions hanging out. Look at him, just laying there. Raymond got real good at those sea lion call. And this is part of the lighthouse that we actually get. We did get to go into it.
Yeah, you'll see the Fresnel lens there in a minute, I think.
Yep. But of course, we had to take pictures of the water and rocks.
Rocks. But the Fresnel lens was the lens of choice all the way up the coast because it was able to put out 20 miles of light.
Yep. Is this where they replaced it with the LED? Was that a different lighthouse?
I believe it was.
Yep. So basically now they use an LED now for lighthouses, essentially.
And went to Old Fisherman's Wharf in Monterey.
Yep. Again, not sure what I expected here, and this wasn't it. But it was cute. I enjoyed it. We walked all up and down it.
And then we went over to Cannery Row, and we thought we'd see something, but it was just like normal shops. The street was called Cannery Row.
Yep. There's some more sea lions. Look at this little dude. He's so cute. Ham. And we drove through Pebble Beach, and there's a scenic drive through there. And at first we thought we had to pay, but then we found a way to go in and where you didn't have to pay. That's all right. It was like $12.
We did pay when we went in.
Yep. This is a tree growing straight up out of a rock, which is kind of interesting. Carmel by the River Campground, not our favorite, but it was all right.
Skip it.
So John Denver crashed his plane while he was flying into Monterey Bay, and this is a plaque for his memorial. I love John Denver. Later you'll see a plane like the one he was flying when he died. This is just a walk along the coast there. There was a chair.
I think she was trying to take a nap.
Probably. That was just gorgeous ice pink flowers there. So bright. Again, more of the rugged rocks and water.
We don't know how much those houses were, but some earlier was $50 million.
Yep. So we went to the Monarch Grove Sanctuary, and these were the butterflies we saw.
On the wall, painted.
On the wall. That was it. There was a butterfly bench, but we were there at the wrong time of year.
Pigeon Point Lighthouse.
This one was cute and interesting.
Under construction.
Under construction, but learned a lot about it. Talked to a lady for a long time in there.
And wrote a book about it.
Yeah, she wrote a book about several things. There's some more sea lions. Actually, those are seals. Sorry. Pillar Point Harbor. So they have this seawall, and there's like 3, 4, 5 signs about do not walk on it. The water's dangerous. Just don't do it. Don't get around here. It was funny. We found this orchid shop. Raymond would let me buy one.
Then we went to San Francisco, and you talk about roads that are up and down. As Jen says, the road disappeared.
Yep.
I think this was it.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to take over driving just to go back up and go around that one.
Yeah, that was scary. Golden Gate Bridge, of course.
Alcatraz over here in the background.
Yeah, we did not get to go out there, unfortunately. I would have liked to have done that. Then we get to go back into the Redwoods and Muir Woods. I think that's a national monument. Yep. And this was more touristy, I guess. The walkways were more, they were boardwalks and they were paved, but it was still a very neat monument. And it was kind of like the Chiricahua. Everywhere you turned, you wanted to take a picture of a tree because it was huge or had a cool burl or neat goose pen or whatever. Just love the Redwoods. And if you don't know, redwoods are not susceptible to insects and fire and disease. That was a goose pen I got to get in. Goose pens are burned out parts of the tree, and the Native Americans used to literally keep their geese and chickens and whatever else in there.
I think I got that one in there twice.
It was a different one. Hey, look, rocks, water, and
beach.
There's some more. Raymond says that the Oregon coastline was more rugged. I don't agree. I think the California coast was pretty rugged.
Look at this.
That is just gorgeous. Then we got to go camp in the Gualala River Redwood Park, and it literally in the redwoods. It was fabulous. I was happy. More rocks, more water.
Of course, we play a little game over camping called Play 9.
Played it almost every night.
That's the river behind our campsite.
Yep. Another
picture of
tree.
Shooting up in what would be a cathedral in time.
Oh, yeah.
We took a skunk train ride at Fort Bragg, California. They call it skunk train because there's skunk cabbage along the ground on the route, and if you mess with it, they said it smells like a skunk.
Just like it. There's the train. It was a short ride, and then they stopped at this little park area, and they had like a pavilion and stuff. They had a little hiking trail that we did. That's looking back down on the tracks.
And the little cars you can rent to ride, the pedal cars.
Oh, rail cars.
They were like $250 for a day or something. It was ridiculous.
Well, but I think that's for 4 people or something. So you split it.
And then we went to Glass Beach.
Yep, and we actually found glass on the beach.
We had to get there. We couldn't park near the beach. They said no RVs, but as we parked way down the road and walked back, there was about 3 RVs parked in that campground, in that park. So this is on the walk down to Glass Beach. And we get to a place that's definitely why it's named for.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I got a cold from this trip. I got back and I've been sick for the last week and a half.
Yep. But again, this just shows you the ruggedness of this coast. And this is actually part of why I wanted to do this trip. I wanted to see this coastline. I got to see it.
I mean, we took Highway 1 as much as we could.
Yep.
There's a picture of the glass in the ocean there.
Yep. You can see a lot of the clear glass there. You can see a little bit of the green, some of the brown. That's more of Glass Beach. I mean, it was It was pretty big, really.
There's a lot of people out there. I had to find a place to take a picture and not get people in the picture.
Yep. We just walked around a little bit. Rocks, water, more rocks and water. Hey, guess what?
What?
Rock and water.
Rock and water.
I actually sent my niece pictures a couple of days, and she said, "You sent me the same picture." No, I didn't, but it's close. This is back in the campground at Gualala River. And this is Half Moon Bay, I think. Oh, and then we went to the drive-through tree, quote unquote. Your car can't be very big. I'm 5'4", and you see how close I am. That's probably what I think we decided, maybe 6 foot.
Yep.
And you had to fold your mirrors in, and then we got to the Redwood National and State Parks. So the redwoods were in 3 separate state parks, and they didn't have enough protection, so the federal government came in, made a national park that houses the 3 state parks, and so the redwoods have national and state protection.
The redwoods were almost extinct.
Yeah, right.
They were trying to cut them all down, and people realized they're cutting them all, and they tried to create a group to stop it from being cut. And only 2 or 3% of the redwoods were saved.
5%. There's 5%. Yep. Which makes them even more special. This is the root base of a tree. And there's some really interesting bark. And then I finally saw my first banana slug. And that's what that little dude is. There's another one. Once you see one, you see them all, apparently.
Absolutely. We saw one, and you just turn around there. Here's one, here's another one.
Yep, here's a spotted one.
There's one of your redwoods.
Yep, and a goose pen. This is the road that we had to go down. This is a tree that split that you could walk through. I sat in that little whatever.
Went down to Trillium Falls.
Yep.
Did that little trail. Back out, more roots.
This is a tree that falls. That shows you the base, how big the bases get.
But it don't go deep.
Right. They're only 10 feet deep.
Maybe.
Redwoods don't have a taproot, which all other trees do.
And that hole on the top right there is about 100 foot high.
Yep.
A chimney top out of it.
Yep. There's another root system. It's just fascinating to look at. Another little banana slug friend.
Went to Klamath, California.
More rocks and water.
More rocks, water, and beach.
And waves. Look, there's waves on that one.
Went to Elk Valley. Went to a casino and had lunch.
Yep.
And these elk crossed the road, and they just said, we're going to be here a minute.
Yep.
Everybody had to just wait till they finally moved, and we're sitting there getting pictures.
They didn't care.
And then we went to Battery Point.
Battery Point Lighthouse. That's right, in Crescent City.
That's low tide. You have to cross over this wet spot to get that other road during low tide and get back.
Yep. I mean, granted, you have 12 hours to do it, but you still got to time it right.
That's beautiful.
Yep. Out there on a little island by itself. And then there's a seawall, and these jack-looking creations were made up part of the seawall.
And then we was at a campground, and some people told us the best place is to go get pictures of these 2 spots you just saw. He said, go out to the campground and turn right. And go up about a half mile, whatever. We ended up going out of the campground, turn right, wrong place. He says, I'll show you. So we go out of the campground, he turns left. That was the campground, and here they are.
Yep. Always go left.
Always go left.
And then this is actually one of the state parks within the Redwood National Park.
Jen had to make kind of an emergency phone call to her daughter, so we laid Starlink out on the driveway there, and she made a good call.
Yep. I got to talk to Grace for a couple of minutes.
We hiked. This was the day Garmin said 8 miles and All Trail said 6 miles or something.
Yes, All Trail. I think it's All Trail said 5, and we ended up doing 8 or something. This is the Boy Scout tree trail. Framing with the Boy Scout tree.
That's a big tree. Look at that.
Yep.
Then we did hike down to another waterfalls. I wonder if we put a picture in there of that.
We'll find out here in a minute. I don't even know what that falls was called.
I don't think we did. We went to Myers Creek Beach in Oregon.
Oh, yes. Now we're in Oregon.
See the big rocks? See that? That is beautiful. Just wait. I think this is the prettiest coast, other than the debris right there. But I mean, look at that.
That's just the rocks here, I will say, are bigger. They are more dramatic.
Look at that.
Just huge chunks of lava just hanging out. This campground was Honeyberry by the Sea, and we could actually see the ocean and sunset from our campsite.
Dog friendly and nobody on that beach.
Oregon doesn't care if you can do off leash for your dogs in Oregon. You cannot in California.
I mean, look at that beach.
California has a lot of regulations. Oregon doesn't care.
Gas prices in California was $1.50 higher than anywhere else.
Yep.
I mean, $5.50 to $5.80 for a gallon of gas in California.
So this lighthouse was trying to hide, apparently, in the fog.
It did a good job.
It did a real good job. And we got to Bandon, Oregon. Again, more rocks and water, more of the coast.
I just think the Oregon coast is prettier. I mean, look at that.
Well, I think if the sky had been blue, it would have been prettier for me.
Yes.
Just little rocks all over the place. We did a kind of a sea cliff hike and saw that puffin that
some artists made.
Got to Coos Bay, Oregon. This is part of the private beach from the campground, and this was at low tide. These people were out clam digging
everywhere.
So then they had a game room and all kinds of stuff. There's the van with its sunset. Absolutely gorgeous.
Every time the tide was down, people were out there just clamming.
Yep.
And then we saw some people with spotting scopes and binoculars at this little pullout. And they let you look through the binoculars at the seals.
Yep. And they actually had an apparatus where you can put your phone up to it and then take pictures from it. And that's what that hole was. Coos Bay is known for wood chip export, of all things. They export it to China. I guess China turns it into paper and sends it back.
Yep.
Let's see. This is, I don't remember the name of the park.
But they want you to destroy the dunes because there's a lot of invasive plants in there.
Well, they want you to destroy the plants, yes.
Plants, yeah.
You can rent an ATV and just go out there all you want.
We went to Sea Lion Cave.
And this was a paid admission.
Yeah, it was paid.
Yeah.
And then there's a lighthouse off in the distance.
We saw more sea lions and seals not paying to go see them.
Right.
But that's okay. We've done it. We don't have to do it again. Then we saw off in the distance, we saw Hedeca Head Lighthouse. We did not go over to it.
Then we run across this guy who is doing hang gliding.
Yep, and he's actually one of the best in the country.
According to the girl who was with him.
Yep, she set him off, and she was going to meet him wherever he landed.
Well, she said he'd hoped to come back to where they were, but he ended up landing on the beach.
This was a neat campground. This was Netart's Bay, and across from there you saw these seals. And at high tide, they'd like swim around, and then low tide, they'd be back on the beach. We headed to Tillamook and Astoria next. Yes, we went to the Tillamook Creamery. Of course, we ate the cheese, we ate the ice cream, we took the tour, we learned all about it.
We learned that they own about half the cattle around that area, or they contract out and work to the cattle farmers.
Yep. We did a little cheese tasting. I learned that white cheddar is not my favorite. They had this little photo op. And then we both had flights of ice cream.
Yep.
Whew, man, that was good stuff.
Then we went to Tillamook Air Museum. They actually had a blimp in here in the day.
Yep. They had fighter jets, and they had all kinds of planes. They had This is John Denver's plane, or a type of plane that one right there, that he flew when he crashed. There's me being all excited because I'm in a plane.
Didn't have anything to do with Jen trying to fly. No.
I would have loved to have flown a fighter jet in life. But there's the hangar. And this is back at the campground.
And that's just on the way around that countryside there.
Right.
Spruce Goose, Evergreen Aviation.
We went to McMinnville, Oregon, which is about an hour and a half away, to see the Spruce Goose, an SR-71, and an F-15.
And that Spruce Goose is built out of wood.
All of it.
That was back during wartime, and they didn't have the metal to build a plane, so they attempted and did build planes out of wood.
Yep. There's my SR-71 that I love. It was a pretty neat park. They had a lot of planes. There's the Spruce Goose, yeah. There's my SR-71 again.
Kind of jump back and forth there.
The SR-71, the Air Force can call that specific plane back into commission if they need to.
Cape Mears Lighthouse, another lighthouse.
There were a lot of lighthouses, obviously, along the coast, and we didn't see but half of them.
That was actually a Fresnel lens, and they had caught kids who were shooting the lens out with a gun. So they had to serve time, being couldn't spend any Christmases at home for like the next 6 years. They had to go like to jail for a week.
Yep. And we went down to what I thought. Oh, this was the falls. Yeah.
We actually did a water test on that water right there. It scored 19. Anything below 100 is good.
Yeah. We bought a water beater. That's a salmon berry, and they kind of taste like a strawberry, kind of, or sort of.
And this is Oceanside.
This is a tunnel. This is Tunnel Beach, and you literally go through that tunnel to one side to the other, and the weather on either side of the tunnel is completely different. One side's warm and calm, and the other side is windy and cold. It's fascinating.
And the wind got up and was beating you in the eyes, and I felt like it was embedding sand in my legs.
Yep, peppering you. There we are, trying to hide from the sand.
And this is just some pictures we took along the road.
I think this was on the way back from McMinnville, Oregon.
We'd pass some places, we'd say, we'll stop there on the way back and get pictures. Then you'd see another place. Some of those days just couldn't get anywhere for all the stopping and taking pictures.
Right.
Look at that. I mean, the fog made it pretty.
Yep.
And we go to Seaside, Oregon.
This was an interesting little town. We went to the aquarium and saw these starfish. They had some interesting. This is an eel. It is not dead. He's actually okay. That's what he does when he's actually in a food coma, so to speak. There's one that's not quite in a food coma.
Again, sea lions.
Yep. This is Ecola State Park and Indian Beach Trail and the Clatsop Trail.
And this is where, when we hiked up here, this is where those movies were made.
Goonies, Point Break, and I can't
A
remember.
snake. Right
Oh,
before that picture, Jen stepped on a snake.
I
Had
did.
no idea she was standing on it.
Nope. That's Terrible Tilly, the Tillamook Lighthouse. Nobody is ever allowed, no one is ever allowed to step foot out there because of the conditions.
And that was back at the boardwalk. The next day at Seaside again.
Yep.
Found this sign. And then we went to the column.
Astoria Column. This was interesting.
It was.
This is up, we had lunch up there overlooking the ocean there before we went into the column. And that's the actual column. And the detail on this column is...
Look at that. It looks like a printing press printed it.
Yes, it is amazing.
And it's you can climb to the top and look around.
And we did. We sure. And they actually sell in the gift shop, they sell little planes that you can fly off the top of it. That was kind of fun.
There's a scooter down below.
Yep.
Then we did the Cathedral Trail.
Yep.
Small tree compared to what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
Maritime Museum, Columbia River.
So, this is obviously a ship and fishing museum.
And it had a poster of how many shipwrecks had been off the coast here.
Yes.
Where the river meets the ocean.
Yep.
And it's low sandbars.
High sandbars, and ships just wreck off of there. Even to this day they do. They actually have pilot boats to guide people in and out of the bay.
And this is Fort Stevens State Park. That's an old shipwreck there.
That's Peter Iredale wreck.
Then we went kayaking.
Coffinbury Lake.
This is the only lake with at least 2 missiles that the Japanese fired into the U.S. during the war.
Yep.
They tried to find the 2 shells and they couldn't find them, so they finally decided to leave it.
Yep. We did see a lot of eagles. Then we went to Astoria and saw the Goonies house. It is owned by a private guy who is a super fan of Goonies, and he has left the house or he made the house just like it was in the movie, and you'll see some detail. You see the screen there hanging off from when Chunk went through the screen.
Went to Fort Stevens State Park bunker viewing. We kind of took a trail that was not there.
It looked like it was going somewhere, and it didn't.
But if you want to go somewhere and see eagles, we saw at least 5 or 6 eagles here, and they're flying around together, and it was amazing.
Yeah, just standing in the parking lot watching them fly around.
You'll have to check that daily video.
Yep.
This is the fort that the Japs tried to fire on. They fired 9 shells. They missed the fort. The fort was not allowed to fire back because our missiles couldn't reach theirs because theirs was 20-inch diameter, and they were shooting 10-inch at us. So we couldn't get a missile back at them. We didn't want to let them know where it was. Rialto Beach. That's Ruby Beach.
That's actually Ruby Beach, yes.
There you go.
And then this is Rialto Beach. And this was an interesting beach. A lot of driftwood here. Not big. I mean, it's big, but it's not like it is on Jekyll Island, if you know what that is. But for miles. I mean, it was a long stretch of driftwood.
Pretty place.
Yep.
Had a lot of people taking wedding pictures and everything else.
Yep. We stopped at a restaurant. This is James Island. We actually weren't supposed to be parked there taking pictures, but we did.
We did. That was our campground. Jen did good.
Uh-huh. We parked behind somebody's old RV service barn. Then we got into the Hoh Rainforest. I was super excited about this. And again, after seeing the redwoods, this wasn't what I expected. But it was very cool to see all the moss and the trees and the symbiotic relationship that they have. We did a couple of trails. We did the Hall of Mosses. Can't remember the other trail we did, but it was pretty cool. just after the redwoods. I was like, meh.
Yeah, they were small compared to the redwoods.
Yep. I think if we'd gone here first, it would have been different.
I told somebody today, if you're going to do it, go to the whole rainforest first,
Yep.
and then go see the redwoods.
Yep. There's a good picture of the moss on the limbs, and in the southeast on the coast, on the east coast, that moss will kill a tree, and here they do not. There's more of the moss, and hopefully we'll show you a picture of a nurse log.
That was one you kind of saw back there.
There it
There's a
is.
nurse log.
There it is. So the tree roots go together, and they feed off each other, and they feed each other. That was kind of cool. This is the Ho River, and it is cold. I stuck my feet in it. It was cold and glacial.
That's why I turned my back talking to some other people. The next day I know you're down there with your feet in the river.
Well, leave one of us unsupervised. See what happens. This is a lot of ferns. So many ferns.
There's a lot of ferns.
Just from the redwoods all the way up.
Some of these places you had to wait for people to get out of your way so you could take a picture. Or you had them and their kids in the same picture.
Yeah. There's a banana slug, a brown banana slug of all things.
And then we had lunch at the, that's the deer there.
Yeah.
At the Hard Rain Cafe.
Yep. We were taking a picture of that deer, and I said, we have those in Tennessee.
We took a trail right off of the cafe and hiked back in here. And it was something bullfrog, something. Anyway.
Frog bog.
And then we went to Lake Crescent.
Yep. And it was okay.
Again, we stopped on the side of the road to take a picture of something.
Of the lake.
And then we went to Robot Donuts. Bavarian Field. Somebody told us you have to have the Bavarian Field donut. We got one, and we actually went back one other day and got them again.
We did.
Great donut place.
Yes, I got the chocolate covered.
And we went to the tide pools at Crescent Lake. Water goes down, leaves these little tide pools, and there's all kinds of little vegetation and animals and stuff.
That was not at the lake. That was on the coast.
Of the coast, I meant.
I had never done tide pooling, but there's a little starfish. There was a lady that's actually a camp host and showing us all kinds of things. There's a sea urchin.
Little cave that you can sit down in, almost.
Yeah.
That's low tide. Everybody's out looking at the critters.
Yeah, it was a challenge getting down there. They had like a cliff they kind of sort of had steps going down to. And that's the island that you can get to at low tide. That's the start of the sunset.
And they had a bunker at this campsite, another bunker.
Yeah.
And that's high tide at that same place for the next day. Well, then we went to Hurricane Ridge.
In Olympic National Park, probably one of our favorite spots of the whole trip. Just absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to say it again, stunning. We saw this mama and her baby. So cute.
And there's the beginning of it.
That's just it.
Yep. And of course, we had to make our way up to the parking lot. And this is the hiking trail, I believe, going up to the top of the mountain. And this was a beautiful place. I rank it as one of my top of the whole trip. That, the Redwoods, and Crater Lake.
Yep, we'll get to that. But the mountains and the trees here were just gorgeous. This is a map of the trails in Hurricane Ridge. Again, still cold.
Oh, we hadn't even got there yet. I think there's some of those pictures swapped up.
Maybe.
This is actually on the way up to it. Then there's the parking lot.
Yep. There's the trailhead sign, obviously.
And there's actually snow still on the ground here.
Mm-hmm.
You had to kind of walk around it, or you could have walked over it. We ain't going to walk there.
No.
Some of those places are pretty doggone steep. And the mountains and the valleys and the trees and the area you could see was just amazing. You could see for miles. I mean, that ridge just kept going.
Yeah, it was probably 180 degrees around us, I think.
And then this little chipmunk here, he really liked me. He wanted to bite me, I believe.
Bite your foot.
But that was just as far as you could see to the left and as far as you could see to the right.
Yep.
And that's actually on top right there. I should have done a video. May have done a panoramic here. It looks like coming up. There's a lot of people on this trail.
Yep.
We did not do that little hike up. Jen said it's too close to the edge. She didn't want to do it.
Yeah, Jen doesn't like falling. There's a panoramic.
One of them, yep. Panoramics don't do it justice, actually.
None of the pictures do.
There you go.
Yep.
It's just beautiful, way up high.
Yep. Once you get up there, you walk all around. We saw some deer. There was another trail that we could have taken, this trail.
It went for 8 miles. We hiked out about 3/4 miles, I think, turned around and came back.
Yep.
And then as we were leaving, we saw Mama Bear and her 2 cubs.
Yep.
There's a little cub poking his ears up.
They were so cute.
And of course, on trips like this, you have to go to the laundromat. We actually didn't think we were going to do this, but maybe twice on the whole trip. And I think we done it about 6 or 8 times. And that meant we didn't need half as much clothes as we carried.
Yep.
And then we met these people the night before we found out we had to get up to get on a ferry at 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah, thanks to them, we learned that we needed reservations for the ferry. And when I went online to make them,
we had to be there at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
And it was an hour and a half drive or something like that.
Yep, from the campground.
And then this is Deception Pass. And this is a beautiful place too. Again, scenery.
Yeah, this was gorgeous. And there's a map of the waters, and it was interesting.
That little state park was nice, and we did go back and do the kayaking there, and that was a fun trip. This girl here knew her stuff also.
Yes, she did.
We kayaked around Deception Pass, and she told us about the sea life and all kinds of stuff. You'll see later.
Yes.
There you go.
There's a kelp crab, is what she called that. Everybody that wanted to could hold it.
And then we got into the kelp.
How about that? Is it good?
That works.
Is everybody happy?
Yes, we like it.
I have 2.
Good job.
Hang on. So Jen ate some kelp.
Yeah, right.
We all ate some kelp.
Yeah, you had a little piece.
Oh, I had enough. I had a couple of pieces, actually. Then we got a picture by the guide.
Yep. And this is the Maiden of Deception Pass, and the story goes that she fell in love with somebody in the water, and they lived happily ever after. It's one of those kind of stories. And
if she would agree to marry him, then everybody would have fish and famine. If they didn't, they was going to be starved.
Right. And that sign back there said falling can be deadly, and that's absolutely true. And this is a marina where we were.
Travel to pick up Delaney. We had a guest on this trip for how many nights? 9 or 10? 8 nights?
8 nights. We went and picked her up at the Bellingham, Washington airport.
Is that anywhere near Delaware?
No.
Oh.
It's not. There's Delaney.
There she is.
Kind of getting settled. And
this is our friend's daughter, and she enjoyed it. We enjoyed her. She was fun.
Yep. She's now our friend too. This is the Skagit River. I can't believe that word's pronounced that way, but okay. There's Delaney. We were skipping rocks and doing stuff and just enjoying it.
Delaney is a camera hog. If you have a camera, she's going to get her picture to it.
Yes, she is. And this is really pretty. Again, the clouds and the trees, and there's Delaney's room. She's all closed up in her room behind that blue curtain. There she is in her bed. She said it was pretty comfortable. And we went to the North Cascades. And it was pretty. But again, after Olympic National Park, it's still pretty cool.
The water here is green.
Yes.
This is going down to the dam.
Oh, yeah. Ross Lake Dam. And this is just part of the hike, one of the, probably a bridge there. And that's up at the, like there's a radio tower station up there. This is looking down at the dam. And there's a little waterfall you could kind of sort of see. There's a better one.
That's actually a pretty place too.
That's a great look on my face.
Well, the other one I was standing up and just sitting down.
Yeah.
Waterfalls, river.
There's the three of us with the red little waterfall behind us.
What dam was that? What lake was that?
Ross Lake Dam.
Ross Lake. And that was a good hike down, and it was steep. Then you had to hike right back up, and people actually camped down there.
Right. And actually, we actually saw snowflakes.
Yes.
And we're back at the campground. There's Delaney being Delaney.
Jen trying to skip rocks. And that was the campground. It was
Yep.
a nice, clean little place.
Yep.
Then a little town called Concrete.
Concrete, Washington.
We went to the information center, and they told us about the salmon capture and release that they do right here. And they actually put them in a truck and take them upriver and let them out.
The building in concrete.
Great place to eat was, what was that restaurant?
Bird View Cafe.
We go to Razor State Park and do this hike. And that's where Jen and Delaney decided to eat, I don't know, strange berries on the side of the trail.
Salmon berries. They
Yeah.
were fine.
Uh-huh.
We both survived it.
You made it home. I'll give you that.
And this was a hike we did, and it opened up into a field. It was very interesting. We like hiked in the woods, and then there was this huge field and trees with moss and all kinds of things. This is on the way to Snoqualmie Falls, and there it is itself. And we met Perry and her boyfriend Curtis there. Perry lives in Seattle. You'll see more Perry later. And then we go to a campground in Mineral, Washington. And there wasn't much to Mineral, Washington, but this little train.
Then we went to Mount Rainier National Park.
Yep.
Stopped again, got our picture.
And I think this is Christine Falls. It's the most photographed spot in Rainier. But again, just absolutely stunning.
All of this gray is the lava flow from Mount Rainier. No?
No.
That's not it? Okay.
No, that was just a river flow.
River flow. Gray water.
Yep.
And then Rainier stayed foggy most of the day. And we did get up on top and finally got some pictures.
Yes. That's Mount Rainier. We also went to Mount Hood. Somebody told us Mount Rainier had more glaciers on it than Glacier, but we found out later that wasn't true.
This park, Cascades, has more glaciers in it than Glacier National Park.
You mean Rainier?
No, but Cascades, isn't it?
Okay. No, this is Mount Rainier.
I thought Mount Rainier was in Cascades.
No. There's a map of, I thought it was kind of cute, and more of this little town.
That's about it. It's two trains. You could actually spend the night on these trains, and one of them is a restaurant. Then we went swimming on Outer Lake. Well, two of us went swimming.
Yes.
Jen, we didn't convince her into getting into the 40-something degree water, temperature water.
One of us was in the group was smart.
She took pictures anyway.
I did.
See her feet?
Yep. It's about as close as I got.
Then went to Mount St. Helens.
Now you get to Mount St. Helen. And this is a color photo of the aftermath of the explosion out of the side of the
Last
mountain.
eruption.
This postcard shows what Mount St. Helen looked like before the eruption.
Then went on the road to Columbia River Gorge.
And oh my gosh, another part of the reason I wanted to do this trip was to see the Columbia River Gorge, and I was not disappointed on this point.
And this is actually a tunnel for the old road, and it's turned into a greenway now. And I thought, man, they spent a lot of money on making a nice greenway for people. But I found out it was the old highway.
Right, but it was pretty cool. It was probably what, a mile long.
I don't know how long it went. We only hiked about a mile of it.
Yeah, but this is some of the gorge that you can see. More of the gorge, more of the perspective of it.
And then this is our campsite, White Salmon Campground.
Yeah. Hey guys, there's a train coming.
Yeah.
And then Delaney talked us into whitewater rafting.
Whitewater rafting. See me in the front? See Delaney in the front?
See Jen's face?
Jen's in the back? We had a good time.
Stuff. It was fun.
Then I had to get Scooter, had to get the oil change. How many miles on it? Had to get an oil change.
Yep.
That's just a bridge on the other side of that Cumberland Gorge.
2 bridges, yeah. It was just a cool little area.
This morning we got up to head to Mount Hood.
Yep. And there's Mount Hood, part of it. And it was pretty foggy when we got up there. And we decided to go to the Timberline Lodge, which is where part of the Shining was filmed, the outside. We went in and walked around a little bit.
Kind of waiting for the fog to clear so we get pictures of the mountain.
Yep. They're capitalizing on the Shining.
Yep.
There's a great picture of Mount Hood.
The top of it.
Yep. And then the fog starts moving back in.
So we go in and eat some lunch.
Yep. Another good picture of it.
Chili and hot chocolate. The hot chocolate, I should have got a picture of that mug. Delaney and I shared it. It was awesome. And then this is leaving.
But these people are actually snowboarding and skiing on the mountain in June.
Yes.
End of June. Then we went to a lavender farm at Delaney's request, and she, of course, wore her lavender top so that she would
match
with the lavender. Raymond and Delaney had lavender ice cream. I was not impressed. Not my ice cream of choice. There's Delaney in her little lavender top.
This is just 3 or 4 of the 500 pictures we took of her there.
Yes. And there were bees all in this lavender, as you might imagine. And, I mean, you walk through and they didn't care one bit about you.
This is the Washington Airplane, Automotive, and Antique Museum.
Yes. And they had 400 plus anything with wheels, basically, or an engine. They had cars, planes, everything. Trucks, new, old, and somebody told us that this is museum quality work, and they weren't wrong.
We went to Creole Chocolate Factory in Portland, Oregon.
Yes. And we sampled 20 different kinds of chocolate there, and it was all very good. Brought some back.
I asked him, how did he do that on certain flavor? And he said, can you keep a secret? I said, yeah. He said, I can too.
Yep. And then we had lunch at Pine Street Biscuits, and we had Nashville hot chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, my first one.
Yep. It was okay. There it is.
There it is. It's a full sandwich, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Bridal Veil Falls hike. This was kind of an easy one.
Yep.
And beautiful falls. Delaney's down near the bottom by now.
Yeah.
I was going at the very bottom.
I was going to the top, and
there she is sitting on the rock.
Looked around. I was like, "Where's Delaney?" And he said, "Oh, she's down there." Of course she is.
Then we went to the Vista House, Crown Point.
Up to the Vista House.
Yep. And you can see this house up on top of this mountain from miles away.
Yeah.
We made it up there. Shortly after we did this trip, I mean, like weeks after, they shut down part of that road because it had landslide work they needed to do.
Yep. That's the inside of the Vista House. There's a downstairs. There's like a basement.
Yeah.
That had gift shop and museum down there. That was kind of cool.
Of course, we had ice cream on this trip.
Yes. And there's Mount Hood in all its glory with not a cloud around it.
The day we're leaving.
Yep.
And then this is Delaney's last meal. We're going to give her a meal and put her on a plane and ship her home.
Yep.
We missed her.
We did. And then we found this campground because we didn't like the other campground.
Crooked
River campground.
Campground.
And this is Smith Rock State Park. No, I'm sorry. This is off the campground.
Right. And
then
then this is Steelhead Falls hike.
Yes, this is probably one of my all-time favorite waterfalls. It is gorgeous. You'll see it here in a second, but it was not a fun hike.
No, my shoes actually blowed up on me on this hike.
Yes.
Of course, they're at least 2 or 3 weeks old, I guess, or years, or
20 years old.
probably.
Raven's holding up a rock that was trying to roll down the hill. Glad he caught it. There's the falls. It's short, but it's wide and it's just
Powerful.
Yes. Gorgeous.
That's my shoe.
Yeah, his flip-flop hiking shoes.
Then we went to Smith Rock Climbing Park, State Park.
Yeah, it is definitely a climbing
Community rock.
That rock right there that you're looking at is where people climb a lot. And there's a couple of different hiking trails, and you can go down there by the river. And that's actually what we did. And it was a hike down there.
And it was 98 degrees probably on the way out.
Man, and it was a hike back up because it was hot. But that triangular shaped rock right there I loved it.
We hiked that whole trail you just saw and down this path. And this is an angle coming back up out of there. It really don't do it justice again. Right. And this is back at the campground. And then we go to High Desert Museum.
This was kind of cool. They had live animals. They had this bobcat. They have a porcupine. And they had birds of prey, which we didn't actually see.
We saw a couple. The eagle.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. But very informative. They did have some steelhead trout. Oh, I forgot about the owl.
Yep.
And they had snakes and spiders and stuff like that too. But it was almost like a zoo and a museum combined.
Yep. I was a Boy Scout leader for 19 years, and this guy in the background there is one of the Eagle Scouts out of that troop. And this is his wife. They're now Christians, and they're really doing things good for the community.
So this is Shelter Cove
on Crescent
Resort
Lake?
No, it is on Odell Lake. It is near Crescent Lake.
Oh.
And here is me revising some plans. And we rented some kayaks for a couple hours, and one kayak for a couple hours, and paddled. Actually, we'd paddle down the lake, and then we'd drift. And then we'd paddle, and then we'd drift. And then we'd paddle. It was good stuff.
And then this is the campsite where Perry joins us.
Yep.
She drove into us.
She drove from Seattle. She is one of my niece's best friends. And she hung out with us for a couple of days and played tour guide Barbie, which was great.
She did really good. And this trail we started hiking on, of course, this is the beginning of it, where we hiked out to the point where we wanted to see. And then we decided to take another loop back instead of doing the out and back. And that other loop hadn't been traveled on in 5 years.
Right.
And we had no trail. It wasn't for...
And this is actually on the Pacific Coast Trail,
yep.
And that was a Pacific Coast Trail
lodge
shelter.
But this is a lookout we wanted to get to.
Right. That's Odell Lake that you're looking at. And then she took us over to Salt Creek Falls, which I definitely wanted to do. And it is the second highest waterfall in the state at 286 feet.
Beautiful.
Stunning. I mean, this picture looks like a waterfall. It so much more. And the trail there was fun.
And then we went to McCready Springs.
Hot Springs. So unlike Arkansas, this was obviously just out in the open. You hiked out to it and jumped in free of charge.
And you can skinny dip in Oregon.
Yes, clothing is optional in Oregon. That was good stuff. I wore all my clothes in the hot springs, and it was very hot.
It was shallow.
Yep, shallow, but
it was hot, real hot.
Yep. Perry and I eating salmon berries again.
Yeah, I'm watching. She hadn't grown an extra arm or anything yet.
Nope. And then we got to Crater Lake National Park. If you like Lake Tahoe, go to Crater Lake because Lake Tahoe is commercialized.
Look at this.
Crater Lake is gorgeous, pristine. I would almost say untouched, except it's a national park.
And then down around this area, which is the bottom where you hike into, with a lot of zigzags, Perry decided everybody else was jumping off a cliff, so Perry decided to jump off the cliff into the water.
Yep, you'll see it here in a second.
Now, Perry jumped here, and Delaney jumped on the river rafting trip.
She did indeed. There goes Perry. That's one of her jumps. She actually jumped twice. There's her second one.
So obviously she's been diving before.
Yeah, jumping off cliffs. Perry's pretty adventurous. So.
Oh, yeah. And she'll keep you hopping. All this is done in the same day, I think.
Yes. I actually had to tell her, Perry, we do all this, it's going to be dark.
And we went to the lodge.
Yep. We ate lunch up there. It was pretty good food.
That's the only lodge picture we took. Then we went back up to another point there.
Yep. And
this is Wizard
Island.
Wizard
Yep.
Island.
And that's actually a volcano too, and there's a volcano under the water.
Sun Notch Phantom Ship Viewpoint.
Yes. This is cool. That's the Phantom Ship. It's actually a rock formation, and it supposedly looks like a ship. So
there you go. There's a picture of it.
Yep. And this was at about 7,100 feet elevation. And this was we kind of did some snowshoeing on that one.
Yeah, sliding.
Yeah.
Vidae Falls.
Vidae, yep.
That's kind of on the side of the road, real easy to get to. Then we went to Washman's Peak Trail Viewpoint. Got some more pictures of us and the Wizard, and tried to get the whole background there, but didn't really get it.
Well, the Watchman Trail was actually closed due to snow because there was so much snow on it, so we couldn't actually do that trail that we wanted to do.
And the Rogue Gorge.
Yeah, she took us over here. She found this one, and this was pretty cool. Look at this water. I mean,
fast, powerful.
Yes, and you'll see that more here in a minute too. But the falls here are incredible.
This was all created by lava tubes, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. And that's to the left is a
living stump.
Yep. And then the lava tubes. This next picture, you can look and kind of see the lava tubes and where they collapse.
Kind of up toward the middle third of the picture.
There's a good picture of the lava tube.
But this river actually, we had to leave this point and go to another one, but it actually goes out of sight underground and comes back up.
Yes.
So they call it a natural bridge.
It is. You'll see a lot. That log jam behind us there was crazy, and the water trying to go past it was.
Of course, we had ice cream.
Yep. Had to stop for ice cream.
Then we go to the natural bridge.
Perry actually almost got fired because she passed the ice cream place.
Yeah, I almost had to let her go. She she had to find her own way home, I guess. I don't know.
There's the water coming into and out of the lava tube. It's coming out of that one on the upper right.
Right, here's a video of it.
This is our next campground in Joseph Stewart County, and we found the Avenue of the Boulders. This was pretty cool. I had this on my list, and Perry helped us get there. So one way you went to the falls, and one way you went to the boulders, obviously. And there's Perry sticking her head out of the boulders, but you walked through all these huge rocks, and there you can kind of see the river, and it's just winding its way through the rocks, and these rocks were slick.
Yeah, that's probably due to the erosion.
And the water just flowing over them for all those years, millions of years.
There's Jen trying to kick her foot up, doing a Delaney pose.
Delaney or Perry? Either one.
They
were both pretty cute. Camera.
And then we went to Mill Creek Falls and Bar Creek Falls. Two separate river falls within 100 foot of each other.
Yep. Might have been one more than 100 foot, but it was pretty close.
That's Perry doing a little pose.
Yep.
And then we go driving to Sparks, Nevada.
Yeah, just about an hour from Lake Tahoe and back in the desert.
And then, of course, that's a campground near Reno also.
Right.
And then we drove down to Lake Tahoe.
Right. And that was a cookie and an ice cream shop.
Ice cream shop.
There's Finette Island in Emerald Bay on Lake Tahoe. And we actually also saw a cinnamon-colored black bear as we drove down the road.
And it was there's a greenway within 50 foot of where that bear was.
Yeah,
was
there were
standing.
people all over it. There's some boats on Lake Tahoe across from the restaurant we ate at. We're both standing in the water there. And there's Lake Tahoe again. We didn't spend a whole lot of time here. There's on that island you can see a tea house.
Very front third of it up high.
Yep, on the left side. And then we spent some long days driving 500 or so miles trying to get home about 2 weeks early.
We had some 8-hour days and 9-hour days driving.
Yeah.
We decided desert, flat, hot, and nothing to see. We just kind of booked it on back home.
Yep.
Canceled 12 days on our trip.
That's the salt flats or some of the salt flats in Utah. And then we got to Colville, Utah. Not much to do or see there.
And we headed the next day to the friend's house. Well, that was Cheyenne.
We still got to go to Cheyenne in Nebraska.
Yep.
So this is on the way to Cheyenne, Wyoming. And we ended up eating at a restaurant just outside or just in Cheyenne.
And that was windbreaks you saw on the side of the road.
Oh, yep, sorry. This is the part of the train museum we went into.
This is a little toy train they had set up to keep kids occupied, but it's working on the main 3D scale model. It was huge.
Yep.
Check out the video of it.
We got into Nebraska, and again, not much to see, but it was more green here.
We did start seeing corn.
Yes.
Corn on the left, corn on the right, soybeans on the left, corn on the right.
Yeah. Saw a picture, or chicken truck, took a picture of it, thought it was pretty cute. And then we got into Iowa for a little bit. There's me driving, getting into Kansas City here. And then we're staying the weekend with a friend of mine in Highland, Illinois. This is their downtown little fountain and their little square and their little mural they have.
Small town, pretty town, nice town.
Cute. Well, there's the Tennessee Rivers. We crossed back into Tennessee.
We're heading back home, yep. And then we are in Tennessee.
Yep, and we were back home.
Making videos. If you enjoyed our video, please select the subscribe and the like button below. To get to our next video, select one of the tabs. Comments are always welcome.